Hello and welcome to another episode of the Command Point Podcast. I think we've got a little bit of an exciting one for you. I'm Shane here with my co-host Ryan.
Hey.
And we talked a bit about the Super MagFest tournament last episode, and we were able to get in touch with the organizer of the event, Matt Wright.
Yeah.
And we're going to have him on for an interview today. Which is going to be in the title of this, so you already know that. No surprise there.
I don't even know what to say right now, Shane.
But yeah, we should have him on in a minute or two. But I guess for right now, how's it going, Ryan?
Oh, it's going pretty good, I guess. Yeah.
How's the kill team life going?
Oh, I'm not sure if I want to talk about it right now, Shane.
Yeah, we went to a local tourney, like an actual Games Workshop one, so we're using weird missions out of the official book, but
yeah,
that was kind of fun.
Kind of, yeah. No, I did have fun. I had fun. It was a nice sort of casual event.
Yeah. So what's nice about these Games Workshop events is if you place top 3, you get this nice little medallion from the store that I think Games Workshop ships them out. So I took 3rd at this event, so I have this nice little cutie bronze medal that I can hang somewhere.
I don't know. I got the silver one I got from the last one we went to. I just have that in the cardboard box still on my desk.
Yeah.
And I pull it out to look at every now and again.
Yeah, it's a nice little thing. It was a fun tourney though. I mean, it's fun to just kind of interact with other players and it's kind of neat.
Yeah, not super competitive, but it's still fun nonetheless.
So we're going to have Matt Wright in on a Skype call in just a moment, and for some questions.
Yeah, we'll see you then. All right, today we have with us Matt Wright, the TO of the Super MagFest Kill Team Tournament. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you guys?
Good. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, it's good to have you on.
It's a pretty big deal for us. This is like our first TO competitive event interview.
First interview in general, actually.
Yeah, true. I guess starting out, what first got you into Kill Team and 40K in general?
Well, I've been playing 40K for how long? 23 years now. There was a movie theater in my town, and right below it was a Games Workshop store. When I was a kid, you'd walk past it and you'd see all the models on the display. And walked in one day, and they let you paint a Marine, and they gave it to you for free, and I was hooked from that day on.
That's really neat.
What's that?
That's really neat, actually. We don't really have anything like that around here.
We at the Games Workshop store near us, we go there and they still do have the painting table set up, but I've always been too scared to sit down and try to paint one of the Marines because I was always too scared to ask if I could take it home for free because this is Games Workshop we're talking about, right? I don't know if they're out there giving away free intercessors.
I don't know what they're doing nowadays, but I mean, I worked for them for a while.
Oh, okay.
And
okay.
Back when I was there, they were still giving away easy to build push fit Marines. Sometimes they'd even give away, I think, some kind of a Lord of the Rings bowman. I can't remember what it was, but
oh, okay, yeah. That's cool.
How was it that you were able to actually, I guess, the process of organizing a tournament and getting people, making people aware and renting out a thing? Obviously, you did it at MagFest, which is a convention, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, I guess you'd call it a convention. Yeah.
So, what was the process like of actually organizing the tournament? What were some of the challenges, location, just general organization, and whatever? I guess you can tell us about that.
So it was surprisingly easy, actually. Pretty much, I just went onto MagFest's website and found out who was running the tabletop, got their email, and messaged them and said, "Hey, I run tournaments in my local area. I'd like to run one at MagFest." And they're like, "Absolutely, let's do that." And it was pretty straightforward with that. But the only challenge I really faced was advertisement, because at least personally, I wasn't really sure where to advertise and how, so I really was limited to certain Discord servers, Reddit, and Facebook.
Uh-huh.
But I would say that was really the only challenge. I mean, getting players is always the hardest part of any tournament.
Yeah, Facebook is how we found out about it. Obviously, we weren't able to attend, unfortunately, but it was being posted around on some Kill Team groups. And I saw it, and I was really tempted. We just weren't able to make it out. What was the turnout like, out of curiosity?
We had 14 players. We had 20 people signed up, and about 6 of them dropped, which is, you always expect some people not to show up. But we had 14 players, which is a really decent turnout, especially considering it was Shane, my partner, who ran it with me. It was our first, bigger tournament. We've always run events at our local stores, but this was the first one we've ever done outside of something like that.
Neat. And I know there's a few players that were like actually pretty ranked on ITC that showed up, which I thought was kind of cool.
Matt and Ryan are probably and Janice are the 3 highest of that team.
Yeah, I saw Janice. That was the one that I recognized right off the bat. Yeah, I thought that was pretty neat. Ryan, you got something?
Yeah. So, it sounds like this obviously wasn't your first time like running an event. Given that it was in like a larger like gaming convention, how well did the event like run? Did you run into like any issues or anything?
There was a little bit of a technical hiccup getting our volunteer badges for the convention itself. For the convention itself, but it wasn't anything that I just called my contact and he said, "Yeah, I'll get it taken care of." It got taken care of, but that was it. Other than that, the only downside to doing it at a convention is you have to pay to get in, right? On top of if there's any tournament fee, and none of that money that you pay to get in goes towards pricing.
Mm-hmm.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah. So people,
you do a local tournament, you do like a $15 buy-in, and at least 10 of that, or a portion of it goes towards pricing. But for this, they did give us some price support, which was nice. But we had put in some of our money to it too, which is a little unfortunate. But we're looking into possible event space just for a standalone Kill Team event where we can put all the money towards venue and prize. Which would be nice.
That's awesome that you guys had prize support. I had no idea about that. I feel like that's not that common in Kill Team, honestly.
Well, Shane, my partner, he's a big 40K ITC player. He just has a big passion for Kill Team. And I agree with him. We feel like if you're going to go somewhere and you're going to pay money to do something, there should be some kind of reward if you do well.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. One thing I noticed that you said earlier was that you called up the convention head and they seemed very open about the idea of a tournament. And that's one thing that I really like about this community is I'd say the biggest issue is people just aren't really like reaching out and attempting, because people are very open to the idea of these types of events. And that's kind of the thing that helps push the community together and kind of open up the door for things like this to happen.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it wasn't. I think I may have been lucky in that the guy that I talked to happened to like Kill Team. Like he knows what Kill Team is. And there's also a Shadespire tournament at MagFest as well. So we already had a bit of a Warhammer foot in the door.
Very cool.
Which was nice.
Yeah.
But, we also are trying to, and I have nothing against 40K. I've been playing it for years, but we're trying to avoid events where 40K already is, because that way players that play 40K can actually attend Kill Team.
Yeah, I think that's really smart.
At Nova this past year, apparently there were a number of people who said they wanted to play in the Kill Team tournament, but it was going at the exact same time, at the GT, as the exact same time as the 40K GT.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they couldn't attend both.
That makes sense. I feel like if only there was just a little bit more time, like, because usually these events kind of occur over a weekend, and it's hard to wrap up an entire tournament in one day. So
yeah,
you would imagine. Oh, hold on, we got a little sound in the background here.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But you can imagine that it would be hard to run and finish an entire tournament in one day. So I can see how that would be an issue that people run into.
Especially for a big game like 40K. And it's so popular that you get enough players, it sometimes takes 2 or even 3 days to finish out an entire GT.
Oh, yeah. I mean, with Kill Team, I can see it finishing in a day, but with 40K, that's quite the task.
Yeah. I mean, even at, Slaughterfest next August, I think it is, that Kill Team stream is running. He's running 2-day events. So and I think actually at SoCal this past year was a 2-day event too.
Yeah. I think they had like a Kill Team open board day, and then they had a separate day for arena.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, speaking of Slaughterfest and all that, this is actually a nice little segue for me.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, what about that tournament packet, appealed to you, and how did you discover it, and what made you want to run it at MagFest?
Well, Kill Team stream, Sheldon, he and I have been chatting back and forth for a while, along with a bunch of other TOs, talking about how, we feel the best way to run Kill Team is and stuff like that. And he pitched his packet to everybody. It was the first one that had included kill 1, kill more, hold 1, hold more. Not the first one to use kill primaries, but it was the first one to do those 4 that way. So I thought we'd use that. And then once Alex, Kill Team Academy, that's doing LVO, came out with his, that's another one that's doing that. So, but we had already decided on Slaughterfest. That's what we went with.
Yeah, Ryan and I talked about the packet last episode, and we're both huge fans of it.
Yeah, so far we think it's the best like competitive packet that either of us have seen so far. Recently, Byrnid 40K, he came out with a new video where he was talking about secondaries in competitive Kill Team. And for this
is his gatekeeper video?
Yeah, the gatekeeper car rambly sort of video, yeah.
That's hilarious. I was actually on my way home. That's exactly what I was listening to.
Yeah, right. So in that video, he talks about how he's going to be writing like the packet for Kill Team for SoCal coming up. And
BAO, I think.
Yes, yeah, that's right. And he said that he wants to be doing free secondaries as opposed to like the tournament organizer rolls a D12 and then you choose from whatever the die roll result was list for secondaries. Do you think that's a better way to handle secondaries, or what's your opinion on that?
My original stance on it was I was pretty against it, because nobody could really give me a good reason why. I thought free choice made things a little bit too, I guess, static, because you'd make your roster and you make that roster completely tailored towards 3 or 4 or 5 different secondaries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would sort of limit things. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it would just kind of make things a little bit stale for, there's fewer hard choices. But when I was listening to Byrnid's video, I think he made a really good point. You should be able to play your lists the way you want to play your list. Because that's how you think you want to play, or that's how you think your list will do best. That's how you want to play. It's just more fun for you, or it's more competitive. And I mean, and the proof is in the pudding. That's how 40K ITC has been for years.
Yeah, that's right.
So
I guess
we're doing is pulling from them anyway. So
yeah, one thing I've thought is allowing free secondaries kind of opens the door for a wider variety of lists to be played. It does, of course, limit, I'd say, you're going to have less choices to make, kind of like you mentioned. There's less hard choices and less tough situations, but certain factions are just going to be better at certain things. And with free secondaries, you see, I don't know, more of a focus on those little things that they excel at.
Yeah, I mean, I've had only one experience using free choice secondaries personally, so I don't really have a whole lot of experience on it to speak on. But when I did it, I definitely noticed that my opponents and myself would just choose essentially the same ones every round. But I feel like that can also be balanced with, different map setups, different mission setups, and things like that. So
yeah, of course.
I think it's definitely a viable way of running a tournament. I mean, and like you guys said at LVO, that's how they're doing it too. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's only 3 weeks away or 2 weeks away.
So, what factions were played at your tournament?
Okay, let's take a look at the list. Well, we had 3 Death Guard players, which I thought was pretty cool.
That is cool.
That is really neat.
I haven't seen Death Guard in a while.
Yeah, right? Like since this game came out, basically.
Yeah, they came out really strong, and then people kind of just stopped using them.
Yeah, really strong. Yeah. At the beginning, they were definitely they were a gatekeeper list for a while with their Pox spam.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we had 2 Heretic Astartes players, 2 Gene Cult players, Tyranids, Adriani, and Astra Militarum Custodes. We actually had a Sisters player, which is pretty cool.
Really? How did the Sisters player do? I didn't even notice that.
He took second to last, so 12th place.
Oh.
But he did really well scoring, which is pretty cool. I mean, he wasn't at the top, but he definitely, when it comes to victory points, he did pretty well.
Cool. You mentioned the. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Third to last, so he came in 12th place.
Oh, okay.
So still 12th place without a 14.
All right, not terrible. So we mentioned how Pox spam used to be a huge thing when this game came out for Death Guard. Were the Death Guard players at this tournament using Pox spam? Like, was there a correlation between the success of the roster and what they were running? Like, because I know with Pox spam, it might not be quite as good with a Killmore primary.
Correct. I only was able to really talk to one person about that specific subject, but he said that he really enjoyed this format because he was able to bring more Plague Marines than he was before, which really bolstered his defense play. He didn't take. I mean, he still took Poxwalkers.
Of course, yeah.
But he didn't have to take as many. I think he said he could take. Please don't quote me on this, but I think it was like he took 6 Plague Marines. He was able to take 6 Plague Marines.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean,
and a few Poxwalkers. So
yeah, in a similar vein, I know that Will Blood also still took plenty of cultists. I think he had like 8 cultists on his list, something like that, or on his roster. Like yeah, and I saw that the Gene Cult player, one of them took second.
Yeah, that was mad. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first thing that really stuck out to me when I looked down the standings.
Yeah.
What happened there? Did you catch much of that?
I only got to see, really pay attention to one of his games. But I mean, he's just an all-around good player. I think he's 7th in the ITC rankings right now. But yeah, he definitely came to play and win.
Well, good for him. I mean, Gene Stealer Cult is not the easiest to find success with.
No, it is not. That's wild to me.
Did you notice anything in the lists that you were seeing that were kind of different from a normal tournament, seeing as you were running the Slaughter Zone packet? Like, did anything stand out to you that you don't think was, I guess, in the norm so far?
I got to see the Astra Militarum player bring an Ogren, which is pretty nice.
That was one.
You don't really see that very often.
Yeah, that was one thing that I talked about on the last episode that I was hoping someone would bring an Ogren to this tournament if they ran Militarum.
Yeah, that was really your hot take. They
had it Kit Bash with an Ambot, which is pretty neat.
Oh, that's
neat.
Sick.
Didn't someone at the local tournament that we went to this past weekend Kit Bash to, it was a Mega Knob.
It was like the dreaded Amble with an Orc head and like Orc bits to make a Mega Knob. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really neat.
It's a big Mega Knob.
Yeah. Yes, it was. How do you feel the game is balanced with kind of just with regular competitive packets that don't have these kinds of primaries like kill more, hold more. Like obviously we've seen like some Tau dominance with what was it, Nova, and I guess things like Slaughter Zone, to me at least, seem like they open the door for other things to be played. How do you feel the game has been competitively leading up to Slaughter Zone, I guess before this packet was introduced?
So, I mean, I'm a bit of a biased person on this one because I generally play elite teams, but I mean, it's pretty well understood that Horde or Horde-ish armies, or rather factions, always seem to be doing better than others. And I think that's just something that needed to be tinkered with. I'm not really the kind of person that thinks I should say I am the kind of person that I think a huge meta shakeup is not necessarily a problem. We have other, maybe they're not tabletop games, but I mean they're games like it's games like League of Legends and.
Yeah, I used to play that game for years. So
sometimes they'll make one drastic change and things flip over on their heads. And like if we made a packet that made elites just hands down better than hordes, I don't see why that would be that big of a problem.
Yeah,
at least for a little while. Hordes had a time to shine for almost 2 years. Why not elites for a little while?
Yeah, one thing I like about that is if the game is constantly changing, the players that are consistently good are going to be forced to adapt to what's good. And I think it's just a good reflection of how good somebody is at, kind of reading the meta and understanding what's good and what's bad and what changes mean to factions.
I agree. It would show off more player skill rather than I played Tau and I won.
Yeah, which we've seen quite a bit of.
Oh.
Which, don't get me wrong, Tau can have a very high skill ceiling.
They do. Mm-hmm.
But to be fair, it's a lot of you didn't kill me, haha.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Ryan plays Tau, so
guilty as charged.
Oh, Ryan.
Look, the first kill team I got was the Primaris Reavers. But like before the kill more, hold more packets started coming out, it was very difficult for elites factions for me to kind of find my groove with them. I loved them, and I do pretty well with Astartes, but I mean with Tau, it's just point and click. It's so bad. No, we've talked to death about how Tau are in need of some serious changes. But yeah. Out
of curiosity, what do you play in Kill Team? I don't think we've talked about this yet.
Yeah.
What don't I play is a good question.
Oh.
There it is.
I have Tau, I have Orcs, I've got Demons and the Star Striders and Harlequins. Harlequins are probably my favorite.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say.
Harlequins and Drew Carl.
Have you gotten a chance to play Harlequins after the annual came out? Because they got some new.
I have not. But that's only when the annual dropped. I was in my local store's league and I was playing the Star Striders, and that just wrapped up this past weekend. So, and actually, I have a box of Harlequin players sitting in front of me right now that I'm going to put together as soon as we're done here. And they're going to be the beginning of my new Harlequin kill team force. So I will be playing them for the next forever.
Yeah, nice. Harlequins is a lot of fun. I recently played them for the first time. They're a fun group of guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. When Kill Team first dropped, Harlequins were my force in 40k, so that's what I played. And they left a bad taste in my opponent's mouth when people didn't know how to play yet.
Yeah.
Because they ignore movement rules, they ignore charging rules, they ignore you have AP minus 1,000, I have a 4-up invulnerable save.
Yes.
And it's just so I felt like I was getting a lot of flack for it, and I was like, all right, I'll stop playing them.
Well,
Everyone's had to fight them. I'm fine with playing them.
Yeah, I don't think you get much flack now. I think they're a pretty well balanced faction. I think if anything, my thoughts on Harlequins are that they, more than other factions, seem like they have really good matchups and really bad matchups.
Yeah, and that's all just because they have one model, basically.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they only do have the one model.
I mean, I think their biggest struggle is the gatekeeper lists are their hardest challenge.
Yeah, like a Gray Knight type of matchup is kind of tough for them. Yeah, I can't even imagine.
I charged you I rolled a 666 on my charge. I got you. He's like, and zap, you're dead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The mortal wounds on those one wound invuln save guys. Not nice.
Oof. So
yeah, but they're fun. Their new spicy tactics are gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So I guess just I got a few more questions here. Not too much more. So I guess just looking at the factions that were brought and I guess the strategies that people were using at the tournament, was there anything that stuck out to you that you thought was kind of interesting?
And now this could just be dumb luck, but I noticed that the 4 secondary groupings that we rolled, based on them, that like high-profile targets, proximity alert, and engage on all fronts, I believe, or maybe it was domination.
Mm-hmm.
Those were picked so many times.
Yeah.
And it's really not that surprising.
Yeah, right. Those
are but like I said, when the ones with the groupings that we rolled, they were on almost all of them.
Yeah, they're pretty easy to, I guess, employ on a list. I can see that.
Kill a specialist.
Yeah, pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
The thing I do find interesting is that 2 of them are positional, which are pretty easy. But one of them is a kill objective.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the time, if something is easy to score, it's not one that requires, as Beard had said, a bunch of dice rolls.
Yeah. One thing I noticed with domination, and I thought this back when Arena came out and domination was first being played, a lot of the time when domination is one of the few options you have, I feel like with most lists, you're kind of forced to take it because your opponent, you're going to want to control the middle anyway in the event that your opponent takes it. So you might as well give yourself the opportunity to get those points.
Yeah. While also contesting their secondary choice.
Yeah, you're kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Because if you don't take domination, you're going to be trying to control the middle anyway, just to stop them.
Yeah, so you might as well pick those up.
Yeah, that's just...
It definitely showed, because we only got domination 1 time in one of the groupings, and it was picked 10 times.
Yeah,
that's unsurprising.
Especially, I think, what round was that? I don't remember. I'll figure it out. But I think that may have been one of the rounds where we played the Slaughterfest packet that had a center objective. So you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. In that situation, that's a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm. So, while you guys were having the tournament going on, did you have any sort of like spectators or just like other people that were attending the convention just come up and like watch and ask questions about Kill Team or anything like that?
We had a couple people come in and say, "Oh man, I wish I'd known about this. I would have signed up."
Oh man,
that's kind of our one of the struggles. But we had a few people come in and ask what we were doing, and it was this like Warhammer 40,000. I'm like, yeah, this is kind of the same thing. And we had a couple people come in and play just some pickup games, which is pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's always nice.
They said, "Oh yeah, we brought our models, and you guys have an extra board." We're like, "Yeah, here you go." And they went over there and played, and
sick.
It was a good time.
Yeah, I remember back when Du Bois happened in Rochester here. That's a big 40K tournament in the area, and I didn't end up doing it, but I was really interested in demoing Kill Team there, and I think that's something that I think that's something that people should do, Kill Team players. Like if there's a big 40K tournament going on, contact like an organizer and ask if you can demo Kill Team, because there's going to be lots of people that are interested in Warhammer 40K.
Or people that dropped out from the tournament that they showed up to play that still want to hang out and have a good time.
Yeah, just open more people up to the game. And
yeah.
Well, it's like you were saying, people you just gotta ask. You gotta.
Yeah, people are really friendly most of the time.
Generally, especially when it involves possibly making money.
Yeah, for sure.
How was I saw some of the pictures that you had posted on Facebook, but how was like the terrain set up for most of the tables? I think I saw some open boards and then like some mixed in arena boards.
So the way we did it, and we'll probably do a little differently next time, but we were expecting about 20 people to show up.
Mm-hmm.
But only 4 showed up. So we had 10 tables set up, but we wanted to use all the tables that we already had set up because, makes things more thematic to have a different table, a different open board especially.
Yeah.
But the way we had it was we had every other table was one arena, one open, one arena, one open. That way everyone would get a nice mix. But yeah, that's how we did it. But the terrain was set up. Generally, we try to have at least 2 line of sight blockers on the table. If we could, of course, in an arena, you don't have to worry about that. There's a line of sight blocker. The board is a line of sight blocker.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, we just had some scatter terrain around.
A follow up to that is, were you using the Slaughter Zone secondaries in that packet for the arena games, or was it just like 100% arena?
So what we did for arena was we used the ultimate deployment maps, and then we used the Slaughter Zone secondaries. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We're going to talk more with the winner, Will Blood, probably sometime this week. But I was curious to ask you did you catch any of his games?
The only one I really got to watch was the final game.
Okay.
Against Ryan and his Tyranids.
All right. What was he running? How was he playing that?
You mean like what was his list? I'm not sure of his list.
Oh, okay.
But he basically he played all positional because he knew that with Hormigaunt spam on the other side, not exactly spam, I shouldn't say spam, but he had a number of Hormigaunts, and I believe Ryan took a Ravener, if I'm not mistaken. So he had to outplay the fast movement with his cultists and his berserkers. So he played as much of a positional game as he could. He didn't worry too much about killing. But I believe he took that game, if I remember correctly, 18-10 or 15-10 or something like that. So it worked out for him.
That's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I would have expected, because I saw he had Corn Berserkers. I would have expected like a total emphasis on killing.
On killing all those Hormigauns. Yeah. That is interesting.
He did some killing in, for sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Skill team.
But in arena, you have to kind of just... You just have to play the board.
Oh, it's the final game arena
especially against a Ravener with their 12-inch movement. They can move 12 inches and open a door.
Yeah. Yeah, Tyranids are...
models where they have for that and they can't open it.
Tyranids are fantastic on arena.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed. I've had some rough games against them on those maps.
I would not disagree.
All right. Well, I'm not sure. Shane, do you have any more questions?
No, I think I've gone through my short list here.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for coming on, Matt. We really appreciate it. Go ahead.
That's all. I was just saying it was my pleasure. Thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah. Do you have anything that you would like to plug?
Yeah, actually, we are running another Kill Team event on May 2nd in Dulles, Virginia, at the Spring Fling Game Convention. It'll probably be a similar format. It'll probably be Slaughter Zone. It might be LVO if that becomes the more norm. But yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
You're breaking my heart, Matt. May 2nd is my sister's birthday.
You know what? And I'll go out right now and just and let everyone hear what a bad dad I am. That is my son's birthday.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Well,
That's something.
But fortunately, he's still fairly young and will forgive me.
Until he listens to this podcast like 12 years from now. You did what?
He's an anthropologist studying old podcasts.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, again, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it. It was great having our first interview.
Yeah.
On the pod.
This is my first interview too, so thank you guys so much for having me on.
Wow, how special.
Yeah,
that's
really.
A very special moment.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Command Point Podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and rate us on whatever platform you use to listen, as it helps more listeners find our podcast. And this also helps to grow the Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team community. Thank you for listening.